All right, so we continue on this this progression of videos that are basically reviews for you guys. Let's start looking at equations, one-step equations, where we have subtraction. All right, so here's an example of it. And like the other ones, you're going to be really tempted just to kind of figure out the answer in your head, but it's really important to practice using these steps just so that when they get harder and you can't do them in your head, you know what the steps are and you know the order in which to do them. So the first thing to do always is to get the variable, the term with the variable in it by itself. So in order to do that, I look at what is being done to x. And what is being done to x is everything else on the same side that it's on. Well, it's having 3 subtracted from it. So if x is having 3 subtracted from it, and I think of that idea with the teeter-totter, right? And I got x minus 3 over here. I've got 18 here. And I want to get rid of this negative 3. Well, we always get rid of stuff by doing the opposite to it. So we're adding 3. So we're going to add 3 to it, and that's going to basically take it and get rid of it. But remember, whatever you do on a teeter-totter, if you're going to keep it balanced, you got to do the same thing on the other side, right? So it's that way with our balanced equations. So I added 3 over to this side, so I got to do the same thing over here. So I do that. This goes away, and then that gives me x equals, and we'll draw our little fence, x equals 18 plus 3 is 21. And then if I put that back in and I go 21 minus 3, that is 18. It does match up with that side, so that's good. So let's look at a couple more examples. Y minus 45 equals 67. Again, I want to get y by itself, and if I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to do the opposite of this. So the opposite of, you can think of it as minus 45, or you can also think of it as negative 45. It's kind of 2 ways of saying the same thing. Is positive 45 or adding 45. So let's add 45 to both sides. And when I do that, this side conveniently cancels, which is what we want. And then you get 67 plus 45, which 7 plus 5 gives me 12. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 4 is 11, which gives me 112. All right, another example. And on these, as we're going through these, feel free to pause the video and try the problem and see if you can get it. All right, r minus 6 equals 2. Most of you are probably capable of doing this one in your head, but once again, it's just really important to make sure that you understand the process. The process is we want to isolate this r by itself. It's having 6 subtracted from it, so we do the opposite of that. So we're going to add 6 to both sides. And when I do that, I get 8 over here, and that is my r. Last problem. P minus 13 equals negative 17. And there are a lot of opportunities for working with integers with these algebra problems, and so it's really important that, you know, as I'm going through these, if you're not comfortable with those, that you're really paying attention to what I'm saying and how I'm dealing with these. So if we're subtracting 13, we want to do the opposite. That's going to bring P down here. Okay, got our fence set up. So when I have something like this, basically because we're adding, you can do this in any order you want. So let's put the 13 on top and treat it like 13 plus negative 7. Well, 13 plus negative 7 is the same thing as saying 13 minus 7. And 13 minus 7 is 6. Another way to think about it is if you're on a number line, right? And you're at negative 7 and you're adding 13. That means you're going this way 13 spaces all the way over here, and we'll just say this is 13. Or wait, sorry, that's not what I wanted to say. Say you're going all that way over there to this, right here, to wherever your answer is, right? And we'll make that a question mark. Well, it's 13 spaces away. And I know that if I go 7 spaces, so that would be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 0, that's going to get me to 0, right? And that basically takes 7 away from this 13, which leaves 6. And that 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would get you right here. Okay, so it's one way of thinking about it. Another way is you can start from 13, take 7 away. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it. I'll be showing people how to use integer chips There's all kinds of different ways to look at it and do it, but that's the basic idea. All right, and that looks like that is our last video.